You want me to put that on my todger?
She wears the trousers. I'm taking a ride with my best friend. I hope he never lets me down again. Promises me I'm as safe as houses, as long as I remember who's wearing the trousers. I hope he never lets me down again. You ought to recognise that as the brilliant Never Let Me Down Again, written by the genius that is Martin Gore, as part of being the band Depeche Mode, who I saw last Friday in Krakow, and I'll be seeing again this Friday in Oslo, so see you there. But the point is that it references wearing the trousers, which of course is a common description for recognising that somebody is in charge. And it would appear, unsurprisingly, that Harry's wife is viewed as being the individual that wears the trousers. According to an article by Elizabeth Hay in Daily Mail, Harry's wife makes the decisions and runs the household. Friend says, the dynamic works for her and Prince Harry, who is embracing the life he has in California, where the Duke is a beer and steak and potato man. Well, it's no surprise that Harry's wife makes the decisions and runs the household, because as a narcissist, she needs the control. Some narcissists, typically lower lesser, middle lesser, and maybe lower mid-range, generally allow other people to do the heavy lifting, and in such circumstances would probably allow other people to run the household, occasionally interjecting with their own ill-advised observations. But for many other narcissists, the home environment is one where they want the control. They may not necessarily be doing that much, instead barking out orders to everybody else as to what they ought to be doing, bringing in hired help, etc. But they run it because that enables them to have the control that they require. They make the decisions with regard to expenditure. They hold the purse strings. They decide, for instance, what food everybody is going to eat. They decide when takeaways will occur. They will make decisions about what money is going to be spent on household furnishings. They decide the social events of the household. All roads lead to and end with the narcissist with regard to that decision-making. Sometimes they will pay lip service to the involvement of the other person, asking them what they would like to do, but they're going to decide for themselves anyway. In other instances, unilateral decisions are made without any due regard for the other people within the household. Harry's wife, as a mid-range narcissist, sees that it's her role to make the decisions for the greater good of the household. She will believe that she's the one that's best placed to do this, not realizing, of course, that it's driven by her pathological need for control as part of her narcissism. Harry, having been turned into a simp, either can go along with it or argue and then be banished to the chicken coop. The article explains that Harry's wife makes the decisions in her and Prince Harry's lives. Hardly news, is it? But the couple are really happy together. Once again, they have to keep telling us this, which of course belies the fact that they're not. He's not because he's being abused, although he doesn't realise it. She's not happy because as a narcissist, she can never actually attain happiness. She'll talk about it, she'll say that she is, but she doesn't realise that she doesn't experience it in the way that non-narcissists do. But it's described them as being really happy together despite significant hiccups since their move to California, a friend to the pair has said. Giving an insight into life at the Sussex's home in Monte Shitshow, a friend of the couple has described how the household runs and says the couple enjoy the small scene rather than huge social events. That is just puff piece nonsense that's being issued to basically say, oh no, we prefer doing the small things, Netflix and chill, feeding the chickens, just being around the house. No. Harry's wife prefers the huge social events. Why? Because she believes that she's a superstar. A huge social event gives her more people that she can control, lots more fuel to obtain. That's why she grins like a gurning, rictus grinning maniac at these events, because of the receipt of fuel that she's receiving. When she shimmies along wearing grandma's bedspread, or she's papped wearing zebra crossing by Grift, you see that fixed grin because she's drinking in all of the fuel. She loves the big social events. The problem is, most people don't want them at them. Because of the taint that's associated with the gruesome twosome, the opportunities to attend these events have reduced considerably. Nobody's interested in having them, and they're not in a position really to host them any longer because nobody will want to turn up to them. And therefore, there is this deflection from those threats to control, which manifests instead as saying, oh, we prefer the small scene rather than the huge social events. Bullshit. That's just not true. But once again, it's the facade management of Harry's wife trying to make it seem like they do. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex, the article continues, have not been seen together in public often in recent months, after the release of their shitflick series, Harry and Harry's Wife, and the publication of Harry's book, Spare. The source told People that the couple who announced their retirement as working royals 3 years ago are embracing their new life at their $14.65 million estate, bringing up their children in the grounds, complete with chicken coops, a vegetable garden, and playground. Believe me, Harry's wife isn't interested in chickens, save from the point of roasting them, or the facade management that goes with making it seem like she's being kind. Vegetable garden, the only time she'd be interested in that is shoving an aubergine up the yitter of the Prince of Pink pancakes, and playground is just somewhere where she can be seen with photographs, or ordinarily the nanny take the 2 children with Archie saying, when are my parents, the trees, going to come and see me? It follows a turbulent few months for the King's youngest son following the fallout over claims made in his book and a brief appearance at his father's coronation in May, where he stayed in the UK for just a handful of hours. A supposed friend of the couple told the magazine that they seem to be very happy with their new life in the sun, PR puff piece for facade management, and claimed their dynamic is one Harry needs. Right. Yeah, being abused, you need that like a hole in the head. They said Harry's wife does seem to run the household and make the decisions, but it's not that he bends for her, it's just the dynamic that works for them. No, works for Harry's wife, and he has no choice but to go along with it. And maybe one that he needs after everything he's been through. Yeah. Because the last thing that you really need after suffering the trauma of losing your mum in a highly publicised road traffic accident is for someone to come along and pretend to be your mum, make you think that she loves you, and then abuse the shit out of you. Absolutely. The Sussexes largely keep themselves in California, mainly because nobody else wants them, but do have a select circle of friends, including a tight group of celebrities. They are said to work out of a joint office in their estate, which basically means so Harry's wife can keep an eye on Harry if she hasn't banished him elsewhere, often shunning expensive parties, because nobody will come to them or invite them to them, or nights out for smaller gatherings at home, with a particular fondness for karaoke. You can imagine the scene, can't you? Harry, spliffed out, slumped on a sofa, as Harry's wife stands there believing that she could win America's Got Talent. Harry, 38, and Harry's wife, who turned 42, have a preference for takeaway pizza from Patina. Absolutely fucking fascinating. And Italian favoured by celebrities, including Ellen DeGeneres and Catherine Reitman. But the prince is understood otherwise to be a beer and steak and potatoes kind of dude, although he does break out of this for special occasions, such as date night at exclusive restaurant Trey Loon, which the couple visited on Thursday night with friend Matt Cohen. At home, the friend says Harry and Harry's wife are united parents, agreeing on family values and how to raise them. Or, in other words, Harry's wife says this is how it'll be, and Harry has to go along with it. The kids are their world, the source added, facade management. Despite knowing that royal life was not a world they wanted for their family, Harry and Harry's wife have faced some hard realities since they left the royal family to bring up their children away from the limelight of the firm. It then just gives a recap about some of the problems that they have had. But notice, here we have another attempt to suggest that they just like the quiet life. They're just like you, wanting cosy nights in and eating some pizza, apart from when Harry wants beer and steak and potatoes. It's another attempt to rehabilitate them. But is anybody buying it? No, nobody is. For the reasons that I've explained, which are wholly linked to her narcissism, it's entirely transparent and apparent that Harry's wife prefers the big stage, but she's not getting it. Let's have a quick dive below the line to see what people's observations are. Great Life 1, no longer relevant. Middlesex Angle, oh dear God, spare me. Royalist 101, awful pair. Jack from Minneapolis, ha 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 ha, and on he goes. Mick, tell us something we don't know. Nell Bell, tell us something we don't know. Toledo Mom, no kidding. Mum 99, well, there's a surprise. What else do we have? In other words, in other news, the Pope is Catholic and bears do their business in the woods, tells us DH. Kylie Franco, their body language towards each other is off lately. Scoop the news, so what? I prefer wine with my steak. Enough of this non-news event. Beautiful flower, just embarrassing. Dana USA, we knew that before this ridiculous article. ADW 1970, we want our privacy. It's a situation of Captain Obvious came, and you know precisely why Harry's wife behaves this way by running the household, because her narcissism demands that she ought to do so. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.